So here inside the content, or you can say content builder, you have a create option where you can create and upload a lot of things. In an email, you might require image. You can go and upload your images here. In an email, there might be various content blocks. For example, you might want to create a button. You can create a button here and the design here. In an email, you might want to write a custom HTML. You can go and create here. You might want an image block. You might go and create here. To create an email, we will go to email messages. There we will create all the block and everything which we have just discussed, which you can create individually. Once we click on create an email, here is a drop down where you will get multiple options to create email. Template, HTML, text only, or existing email. Template will give us some predefined templates. HTML means building an email from scratch using HTML. Text only means no multimedia, nothing, just a simple text. From existing emails means if you have already developed an email, you can take that reference to modify and enhance that content. We will click on template. Inside template, we have various different types of templates and template blocks. Like if you click on basic option, you will see some basic predefined templates already available. It contains different blocks to write your text, images. It has provided you some predefined designs which you can take as an inspiration and create your content. We have some themed templates as well. It is a colorful template, like you want to send newsletters, you want to send business communications, financial services communications, restaurants. Some are retail as well. These are the themed colorful templates. We will click on empty template and we will start developing an email from scratch so that we are able to understand various important blocks. If we choose any basic block or themed block, then the email is already arranged. We won't be able to take a lot of advantages from these blocks. You can create for practice purpose using these blocks, but we will start with an empty block. In empty block, there are a lot of different options. We will choose a blank page and we will click on select option. Once we have done this, we have to define the name of the email, which we will write B36 invoice, because we are going to create an invoice for our client. B36 invoice is the name. Once you click on name, you can click on next option. Once you click on next option, this is the user interface you will get where you can start building emails. Left hand side, you will see email building blocks, whether you want to have a button inside an email, whether you want to use custom code, then you have a code snippet block, you have free form, you have HTML, image block, text block. All these are the blocks. And all these are some of the basic functionalities which you can do within an email. We will try to understand major blocks here and technique to create a data-driven email. So as we are going to create an email, what is the first thing we require? As we are going to create an email as an invoice, you think what is the first thing which will have on an invoice? The first thing we can have on an invoice is the brand logo. We will drag and drop image block and put it here. Here you can browse already uploaded image. All these are the uploaded images which are already present. If anything you want to upload, you can click on create button and upload option. Or the simple thing is you can pass an image URL which is hosted on any platform. We will use Google platform, means Google free images, to pass a URL of Amazon logo. We will just type Amazon, click on images option. You will see couple of images here. Select any image you want to have as your logo. Let's suppose we want to have this image as our logo. Right click and click on open image in a new tab. You will get a URL here. Copy this URL and pass it inside the image block. Once you have passed, the image has rendered on our email. You can define the scalability of this image, unchecking scale to fit option, and you can define pixel size here easily. You can define pixel size here easily. Or let's have another image. It has a lot of black area here. So let me find this image. We will copy this image, pass that image URL here. Set the pixel size and click on done editing. So here we have first done is we have uploaded an image logo. The second thing we have to do is to greet customers. Thank you for purchasing products from us. Then that is a text. You have a text here. You can drag and drop that text. Make sure you arrange the blocks one by one. In text, you can write, thank you for making a purchase with us. This is a message you want to highlight. You can modify this. You can design it. You can make it bold. You can change it as a headline. You can change the H1, H2, H3 headline tags, whatever you want to do. You can make it at the center. You can make it at the last. All these are the editing texts. You can make it colorful. All these options are available. You can change the background of this block. From here, block setting, you have a background option. You can change the background. Any type of background you can have like this, or you can keep no background. So all these are the editing options you will have. You can do in a text block. Thank you for making purchase with us. Now guys, why we are developing emails? To understand how to work on Email Studio and how to develop emails. But more important, we are understanding how to personalize this email. The purchase which I will be making, the invoice I should receive should be personalized to me. It's thank you for making purchase. This is a very generic term. I want to give personal attention to our customers. So I want to write hi first name like this. Hi, any name like Harshit. Thank you for making a purchase with us. I want to greet our customers this way. But the first challenge we have when this email will be sent to a data extension, because we have data coming into our data extension, and the email should be sent to that data extension which is containing our data. The challenge we have is there are around 6-7 people to whom we had to send emails, and the email should reflect their first name here. We cannot hard code this first name here to make it personalized. We want to dynamically fetch this first name from the data extension to what we are sending. So this is the first level of personalization which we would like to look here. How to make email personalized. Because you don't have time to write everybody's email, everybody's first name and then send. The property should be written in such a way that it should be dynamically fetching the records from the data extension and populating it over email. So let's open our data extension. We will click on duplicate tab, and side by side we will open our data extension as well. So whenever we send this email to a subscriber, it should reflect its first name at least, so that subscriber feels that company has tried to address personally to me. I am not a generic person. So guys, we have 3 data extensions you already know in our data model. Out of these 3 data extensions, 1 data extension we have made sendable. Why we have made sendable? Because this data extension is containing subscriber properties. Like what is the subscriber key of a customer? What is the email address of a customer? All these are the subscriber properties which this data extension is containing. Subscriber key, first name, last name, email address, all these are the basic profile of the subscribers. So this is pre-understood that this data extension is made sendable. That means we have to send email to this data extension. Now, whenever the email is sent to this data extension, his first name should be picked and populated here instead of this Harshit. If the email is sent to this person, then his first name or any person's first name should be picked and populated there dynamically. The invoice has to be sent to this email. So to do this, guys, we have personalization strings. What are personalization strings? Personalization strings are the strings which will help us to retrieve data from data extensions. Personalization strings are the strings which will help you to retrieve the data from the data extensions. More than data extensions, sendable data extensions. The data extensions you are going to send email, you can retrieve that data from them using personalization string. A personalization string is a format of %% attribute name %%, where attribute name is the name of the data extension attribute or field you have created. So if in our data extension we have first name, last name, email address, then %% first name %% would be the syntax to retrieve the data from an attribute. So this is called as personalization strings. Personalization strings only work with sendable data extensions. That means this data extension is sendable. We can retrieve its first name inside our email. This is the first name, and this is how attribute of first name is written. We will copy this from here and we will include this attribute in our email using personalization string %% first name %%. So what we have done here, we have written a dynamic personalization string to retrieve the data from the data extension. Now you want to test if it is actually retrieving the data or not. You cannot blindly write a personalization string and send to mass audience. It would create a bad impression if the personalization string is not declared correctly. So you have to test that performance. In order to test, you have a preview and test option, which is a combination of two functionalities. One is preview. That means with the sample values, you can preview this email, how it will look. And test means you can actually send a test sent to your email address. So preview and test is what we have to perform in order to check if first name is retrieving correct records from the data extension or not. So we will add a subject line here. Once we add a subject line, we can click on next option to preview this email. What you will use to preview this email? You will use the data extension which you are going to send to preview this email. That means this data extension I am going to preview because the first name value has to be retrieved from here. So we will click on this envelope, blue, folder icon. Once we clicked on this folder icon, you have to select the data extension which you want to preview. Select B36 data extension which you want to preview. So this data extension is inside batch 36 folder. Now you will see we had 3 data extensions in our folder, but only one data extension is available for preview because emails can only be sent and previewed from a sendable data extension only. Non-sendable data extensions or behavioral data extensions will not be allowed to preview and send any emails. So sendable data extensions, we have to preview. So we have to click on that data extension which contains a record which we want to test for the personalization string. Now this data extension is containing all these records. Suppose you want to see if email is sent to this person whose subscriber key ends with 07, first name is F07, last name is L07. How it will look. So you select that record, or you want to preview this record, you select this record. Once you have finalized a record to preview, click on select option. Now see that this first name will change to his first name. The person on left hand side which you have previewed would be visible. His subscriber key is this, first name is this, last name is this. You see F05 is his first name and F05 is written here. You click on next option, you see F06 is the first name. Here you can toggle the subscribers. From left hand side on the preview option, you can toggle the subscribers and you will see that the first name is dynamically changing. So this is very easy and first level of personalization you have to do on an email. So guys, on an invoice, we have addressed the customer with his first name. On an invoice, we have addressed the customer with his first name. What all things you want on invoice? His email address, his phone number, all these are also important on an invoice. So we will try to include his email address and phone number as well. Like %% email address. This should resemble the way you have written inside your data extension. If there is a difference between this and this, the preview will fail. Email address we want to have on our invoice, then phone number we want to have on our invoice. What all things you want to have? First name we had, email address we had on invoice, phone number we had. Suppose we want to, ship a product to a particular address of a customer. Instead of address, we have taken only country here, but you can have another field to store a complete address. So country, let's suppose it is a shipping address only. So we want the shipping address of a customer as well. We want to store shipping address of the customer as well. And shipping address is country. You can give categories here like email address, phone number, shipping address. And you can make it a bit, less in size. You can change the size from here. Make it suppose 8. Make it left hand side. Okay. So now guys, we have retrieved some basic details about a customer from the sendable data extension. All these are the basic details of the customer which we have tried to retrieve from the sendable data extension. So if you go and preview it again with a different value, you will see that email address, phone number, and shipping address is populated. Email address.
No address that is available is coming from the send classification that we have provided, sir.
Which address?
Below the email was sent to, the email was sent by Northern Trail Outfitters. That is coming
This
from
is your footer which we have
footer.
seen, default footer.
Default.
This is the
Okay.
company address which you have stored on that footer. This is your address, not customer's address. Customer address is the country which we have stored, USA, which we have retrieved from the data extension.
Okay.
We will come to this as well. Just wait for some time. Okay. So guys, what all things we have retrieved? All the basic profile details of a customer we have retrieved. Email address, phone number, shipping address, first name. Now, on this invoice, what all things we want to project? Apart from customer's basic detail, we want to, highlight and provide that transaction details. B36 transactions has what customer purchased, what is the bill amount, all those things it has. Quantity it has, date it has, product name it has. Customer is identified with his subscriber key. But product, bill, quantity and date you also want to have on this invoice only. So how can you retrieve that data from a non-sendable data extension? This data extension is non-sendable, that means behavioral is not available for preview only. We understood that only preview data extension, only sendable data extensions are available for preview. So once a data extension is not previewed or non-sendable and cannot be previewed, then you cannot use the simple personalization strings to retrieve the data. All these are the personalization strings which we have simply used to retrieve a data from the sendable data extension. But if you want to retrieve the data of, suppose, customer transactions, suppose you want to retrieve the customer bill, you want to retrieve the customer product bill, then you cannot easily retrieve using % product %, just write it like this in a form of personalization string. Go next and preview, you will get an error. What error you will get is the personalization string product was not found in the sendable data extension. So guys, personalization strings won't work on relative data extensions or the data extensions which are non-sendable. It will only work on sendable data extensions. So what is the alternative? Alternative is AMPscript. AMPscript is the language which we will use to communicate with sendable and non-sendable data extensions. That means you can work with any kind of data in Marketing Cloud using AMPscript. Directly, non-sendable data extensions are not available for preview, so you cannot utilize personalization strings. Now you have to make data-driven email. The data is distributed within your data model. Suppose 5, 6, 7 data extensions you have. So personalization strings in that case can't be used. So people will ask, what is the difference between personalization strings and AMPscript? Personalization string is a simple string used to retrieve data only from the sendable data extension. It will not be retrieving data from the non-sendable data extensions which can't be previewed. AMPscript is the language which is used to retrieve the data from relational data model. Whatever data extensions, whether it is profile, behavior, sendable, non-sendable, are part of your relational data model, the data can be retrieved from them using AMPscript. So now guys, we have to provide bill of the customer, product name, quantity and all those details. So we will write a message. Thank you for making purchase with us. Please find your bill below. And below we have to provide the bill of the customer. And that cannot be easily retrieved using personalization string. We have to use AMPscript. To use AMPscript, we have to use code snippet. Just drag and drop this code snippet on the top. Why on the top? You will understand. Once you have dragged and dropped this code snippet, this snippet would support writing of AMPscript. In order to write AMPscript, you have to declare AMPscript block. the AMPscript block will be declared like %, opening square bracket, closing square bracket, %. This is the AMPscript block which you have written. And inside this AMPscript block, you have to write the AMPscript logic. In our case, we have to write logic to retrieve data from non-sendable data extensions on that email. And this AMPscript block is never printed on the email. Whatever you write inside this AMPscript block is never printed on the email. So we have defined this AMPscript block. We will go and preview this email again. And you will see that the AMPscript block will disappear. Nothing is printed, neither the block is printed. So AMPscript block is used to write the logic for the AMPscript. What all things you want to print, you will be printing outside the AMPscript block. Now, what to print outside the AMPscript block, that we will see now. So guys, let's understand our data extensions first. We have, suppose, 3 data extensions. One is customer profile, which we already know. And the other data extension is customer products. Customer product data extension cannot be directly previewed. That means the data cannot be directly fetched. You need some reference to fetch the data from that data extension. So B36 transactions, sorry, not products for now, transactions. We want to fetch the data of customer transaction. So now guys, this is the non-sendable data extension, cannot be previewed. The data cannot be fetched directly. How the data will be fetched? The data will be fetched if you have some reference to fetch the data. The data can be easily fetched from profile data extension because it is sendable, it can be previewed, and the personalization strings can fetch the data. So as the data can be fetched from this data extension easily, not this data extension. So transactions data extensions require some reference to fetch the data. For here, the reference is subscriber keys. Subscriber key from the transaction data extension and subscriber key from the profile data extension are similar. The same profile is present who has made a transaction on the other data extension. And subscriber keys you are able to fetch from the personalization strings easily. So subscriber key we haven't fetched, but writing %% subscriber key %% can fetch that data like this. You can write here subscriber key and here %%, because subscriber key is a part of your sendable data extension, it can be easily retrieved. It can be easily retrieved using personalization string. And you cannot directly fetch the data from the non-sendable data extension. You would require a reference. What would be that reference? Subscriber key is the reference. For the same subscriber key, you have populated the data on an email. For the same subscriber key, we have to look up the value from the transaction data extension. So subscriber key would act as a reference. But guys, the problem is that reference should be in our hand. That means that reference we should have in our hand to look up the data from the other data extension. Here we have used subscriber key, personalization string. This reference is not in our hand. Personalization string is not storing the value of subscriber key in the email memory. It is just retrieving the data from data extension and displaying on the email. It is just retrieving the data from the data extension and displaying on the email. It is not in our hands. And once a value is not in our hand, we cannot use it as a reference for getting data from other data extensions. Try to understand. We want something in our hand which we will use to retrieve the data from the other data extensions. That reference we found is subscriber key. But here, using personalization string, subscriber key is getting displayed. We are not able to identify that place where it is stored. That has to be stored locally on the email. We don't have to retrieve it from the data extension like personalization strings are doing. We have to store it locally on the email so that we can use it as a reference to look up the data from other data extension. So guys, personalization strings cannot be used to reference the data. You have to get subscriber key in a variable inside the AMPscript block so that the value of the subscriber key is stored in a variable within the AMPscript block. To declare a variable and store the value of a variable inside the AMPscript block, we will use this syntax where @sub key. That means where means you are telling AMPscript to declare a variable. @sub key means the variable name. Sub key is the variable name. You have to write @sub key to declare a variable. Inside this variable, we want to store the value of a subscriber key. Personalization strings are not holding the value locally. It is just displaying. This variable, once we have declared and we are able to store the value of subscriber key in this variable, then we have something in our hand which we can use to reference from the other data extensions. Now, once you have declared a variable, you have to set the value of variable. Then you have to use set @sub key equal to what should be the value of this variable. This variable should store the value of subscriber key. This variable should store the value of subscriber key, and subscriber key can easily be retrieved from the sendable data extensions. So if you want to store a value from a sendable data extension into a variable, you can just write the name of that attribute you want to store inside this variable. Now guys, what we have done, subscriber key from this data extension. Now we have stored the value into a variable. There is a difference between this and this. Personalization strings just showed that value, did not store it locally, but we have made subscriber key value stored locally. Now we will click on next and see what happens. Everything we have declared inside the AMPscript block. Now let's see what happens. Nothing happened. That value disappeared. Whatever we have written inside the AMPscript disappeared. As I told, nothing will be printed which you will, if you will write inside the AMPscript block. Inside the AMPscript block, you have to only write the logic. Now you have stored the value of subscriber key in this variable. You want to check, that means you have to print that value as well. So to print a value, you have to come outside the AMPscript block and write v function. That means %% equal to v equal to %%. Inside this v function, we will pass the value of the variable. We will pass the variable. Now, as we have written v function outside the AMPscript block, it will print the value of subscriber key. It will print the value of subscriber key. You see subscriber key value printed. There is a difference between this value and this value. This value is actually referenced from a data extension, is just displayed. But this value is actually stored in a variable within that email. That means this value is in our hand and we can use it to look up other values from the other data extension. If you change this, you will see 04, you can toggle the values of the data extension subscriber preview. You will see that the value is also changing. So guys, we have studied two ways to retrieve data from a sendable data extension. One is either you use personalization strings to retrieve the data from the sendable data extension, or you can use a simple AMPscript block like this with a v function to retrieve a data from the sendable data extension. We have just declared a variable and we have set the value of variable to the attribute name of the data extension, and we have used a v function to print that value. But guys, subscriber key, as we are able to get, now we have to make use of this subscriber key to look up the value from this data extension. What all values we want to retrieve from this data extension? We want to retrieve product, bill, quantity, and transaction date. 4 things we want to retrieve from data extension: product, bill, quantity, and transaction date. So what we will do, we will declare 4 more variables to store those data: @product, @bill, @quantity, @date. 4 more variables we have used to store the data. Once you have declared the variable, you have to set the value of variable. So set, what you have to set first, set @product. What should be the value of product? The value of product we have to get from this data extension. You cannot just set like this, because this value is directly coming from the preview data extension. So just we have written the name only. If you try to write product equal to product, which is not a correct way, it will give you an error. It will give you an error that @product equal to product is wrong. You cannot reference a value of non-sendable data extension the way you have referenced for subscriber key. So instead of writing directly, we will use lookup function. Lookup function will help us define the path where product value is present. Lookup function will help us identify the path where the product value is present. Where the product value is present? The product value is present in non-sendable data extensions named B36 transactions. So inside the lookup function, you will tell system where to look up. You have to look up this data extension. B36 transactions you have to look up. So inside the lookup function, you told system where to look up. That means this data extension, you will find the product value. So system came to this data extension. Now system found 5 different fields: subscriber key, product, bill, quantity, date. System got confused. Out of these 5 attributes, which attribute to look up? Then you will tell system that once you go and look up that data extension, look up for an attribute named product. Once system came to that data extension, you are asking, now go and look up the attribute product. To fetch the product values, you have to go to this data extension and look up the attribute product. Now system again came to this data extension and looked up for attribute product. It found a lot of products. It found bag, laptop, mobile, shoes, jeans, charger, bike, car. Which product to look up? System again got confused. Then you will tell system that you have to look up a product for a subscriber key. That means you want to retrieve the data. You want to retrieve the data of the product purchased by a subscriber key. So you will tell system that you have to retrieve the data about a subscriber key. System came to this data extension, then you told look up the product attribute. It went to product, it found a lot of product. Then you told you have to retrieve the product value for a particular subscriber key. Now system is asking what is that subscriber key for which it has to look up the product. That subscriber key value you have already stored inside this variable. Because that reference is in our hand, we can use it to look up values from the other data extension. System understood that it has to go to transactions data extension to retrieve product. It has to retrieve a product for a particular subscriber key. What is that subscriber key? Subscriber key value you have set here. So now guys, set @product. The value is set using this lookup function. Now, once a value is set in a variable, you can print that value. To print that value, we have to come outside the AMPscript block, use v function. What you will pass in the v function? The name of the variable whose value you have stored inside the AMPscript block. So this product we have to retrieve. Now click on next option. You will see that charger. This subscriber key has purchased charger. This subscriber key has purchased bike. This subscriber key has purchased car. Let's verify. Copy the subscriber key. Go to this data extension. Paste it. This subscriber key has purchased car. If you change the subscriber key, 0707 has purchased a bike. So guys, you are able to look up the data using a lookup function. Similarly, you can look up other records from this data extension. You want to look up the bill amount, then you have to write set @bill equal to lookup. Where to look up this data extension. Where to look up this data extension. One system went to this data extension. It found a lot of attributes. It got confused what to look up. You will tell bill you have to look up. So you will write bill here. Then once it went to bill, it found a lot of bill. Whose bill it has to retrieve? It has to retrieve a bill against a subscriber key. Subscriber key we have used as a reference value. You tell system that you will provide a subscriber key for which it has to look up a value for bill. Now system asks what is that subscriber key? Subscriber key you have already stored in a variable. You pass that value here. Similarly, the bill value is fixed. Similarly, you can set the value of quantity. You will have to set the value of quantity. Just you have to change the quantity here. Similarly, you can use this to get the value of date. Once you have declared the function, you can declare like product % equal to v equal to % product bill quantity and then date. Once you have done this, you can go and click on next option. Once you have clicked on next option, some error happened. Data extension named field lookup. Field name quantity. What is the QUAN? Okay, spelling mistake. Quantity spelling mistake. So it was not able to reference it correctly. We will use the correct spelling. Now we will click on next again. Nothing will be printed inside AMPscript block. All the v functions will be printed. You see, customer has purchased, this customer subscriber, he has purchased bike for this amount. This is the transaction date. You toggle this value. This has purchased car of this amount of this quantity at this date. So guys, you are getting a lot of details from here. Now what you will do, once you are able to print the value, you don't print it here. Don't print it here. Print it inside the email which you are developing. Print it here. Please find the details below. Product, bill, quantity, and date. Date of transaction can be from on the top. Date of transaction can be on the top. Product, bill, quantity can be here. Okay. This also you can make it colorful. Now click on next option. Once you have developed that, you see product purchase desktop, quantity 9 and bill $23. You see product t-shirt, quantity 5, bill this much. So now guys, we have got hi, first name, last name. Thank you for making a purchase with us. You have purchased this much product of this much quantity. Product, quantity and bill. Here we are getting shipping address and everything. Now guys, the other data extension also we have, which contains product specification. Customer wants to understand what is the brand of the product it has purchased, what is the size of that product, color of the product, image of the product, most important. All those things are present in our other data extension. That is also a non-sendable. To get the data from the other data extension, we also should have a reference. We have the B36 product as well. Inside B36 product, we have stored product specifications. Okay, product name, brand, color, size, product. Some of the product images are also available. You see here. Now, guys, you have to retrieve brand, color, size, and image. The same challenge again, to retrieve a data from non-sendable data extension, you need a reference. Now here you have a product name, and in the other data extension which we already retrieved, we had a product name as well. The same product is here, the same product specifications are listed here. And product name we have already retrieved, guys, in our AMPscript. If you remember, in our AMPscript, we have already retrieved a product name. This we have already retrieved. Product name is displaying. So that product name will act as a reference to retrieve the other data like brand, color, size, image. So we will declare more variables inside the AMPscript: @brand, @color, @size, @image. 4 more variables. Now to get the data from those variables, set @brand equal to lookup. Where to look up? Now this data extension to look up, you will pass this data extension name here. Once system went to this data extension, system got 5 attributes. Which attribute to look up? You want to retrieve brand. So ask system to go and retrieve the brand. Now again system went to brand. It found a lot of brands, Zara, HP, Apple. Which brand to look up? You tell that for a particular product, you have to retrieve a brand. So for a product name, you have to retrieve a brand. System asked, okay, what is the name of the product for which it has to retrieve a brand? You tell that the name of the product is present inside a variable which you have already set in our previous attempts. So this is how a brand is retrieved. To print the value of a brand, use v function @brand. Now go and look, go and preview it again. Once you preview it, you will see this person has purchased Audi. The product purchased was car. This person has purchased 8 Audis. The product name is listed here. If you want to verify what is the brand of a product car, which we have stored, we have stored Audi. You can toggle the values. Somebody might have purchased another product. Somebody has purchased bike of the brand Honda. You want to verify bike for the brand Honda. So guys, this is how we are able to retrieve data from other data extensions as well. As we have retrieved brand, we will try to retrieve other things as well. Set @color equal to, copy this and change here color. Then we will do size. We will change here size, and then we will do image. We will change here image, and we will print them as well. Brand, color, size, image. Let's see if it is getting printed or not. So you see Honda red double XL. Honda red double XL. Image is not printed because Honda red double XL do not have any image value. But if you retrieve shoes, suppose if you preview a person who has purchased shoes, you see this person has purchased shoes of brand Nike, of color yellow, of size L, and this is the image URL of that shoes which is getting retrieved. Image URL of the shoes which is getting retrieved. So now guys, what all things you got? You got all the values. Once you got the value, you can skip displaying the product details here and you can format it as per your design. Here you can add more things, product. Okay, brand, color, size, and image. Product, quantity, brand, color, size, you can keep it here. Image, you can keep it here. And this bill amount, total bill, and here shipping address also you can cut from the top. You can display it here. Shipping address also you can display it here. These should be bold, or you can say you can make some formatting as well. Okay. Now we have made some formatting. We will go and preview. So once we have previewed, guys, we are able to see, hi, thank you for purchasing with us. Product shoes, brand Nike, color yellow, size L, quantity 4. Image, instead of image, we are getting image URL. Instead of image, we are getting image URL. Total bill, this much, shipping address, this. Now, guys, we don't have to print image URL. Instead, we want to print image. We don't have to print image URL. We have to print image. So we will not put image like this. We will not put image like this. Instead, we will pass image in an image block. Instead, you can pass image in an image block. So you can drag and drop an image block. Here, and you can pass that thing here. % equal to v function of image. You can pass it here. Like this. You can click on done editing. You can change the size of the block. Once we have done that, what we will do, we will click on next option. Now you see, guys, product, brand, color, size L, total bill is coming, and image URL is coming. What all images we have stored, their URL would be there. For the images, we are not having anything stored. This is a bag image. We won't get anything. We would get this blank box. This is one way to retrieve an image. What you can also do is you can delete this block and you can code that image within an HTML here. In the HTML block, you have the HTML block, right? If you know how to write the HTML, here you can write img tag src equal to % equal to v equal to % @ image. This is the block which we have written, which will render the image. You see a big, image block, that big image is there. You can set the value of a pixel here. You can set the value of the pixel here, size, or you can search the Google. Like height and width, you can set it here. Just copy the parameters from Google. $50, or you say 100, I can set. You can. Okay. Now you click on next option. So guys, we are getting this image now. But bill and address are on the top, image is bottom, so this is not looking good. What we will do, we will remove bill and address from here. We will remove bill and address, and we can create another text block, or you can write it here only. In the HTML block only you can write. Click next. Inside the HTML block, it is not looking good. We will use another text block. Here we will write. Okay. Now we will go and preview again. So we have a thank you message, product quantity, bill, everything, image, and bill and address. Now guys, if you see, whatever image is not present in our catalog, in our database, many image URLs are not maintained. For that, this blank diagram is coming. This we don't have to send to customers like this. We don't have to send to customers like this. Instead, what we have to do, we have to display an image not found, because that blank box is not at all looking good. This kind of not found image we have to post. This type of thing we have to post. So guys, what we can do here, we will go back to our AMPscript block, and you see this function is retrieving our image. This is setting the value of the image which we have displayed here. What we can do, we can handle the condition if it is retrieving blank. If it is retrieved blank, suppose if empty is the function to check if a variable is getting empty values or not. If empty is a function to check if a variable is getting empty values or not. Many of the time our image value is getting empty value. Then set @image value equal to a hard coded image value. Set image value if it is retrieving empty to a hard coded image value. And end the if condition with and if. So this is an if condition, a logical AMPscript which we have written to check if the image value is getting empty, then we are setting up to a hard coded value. Now we will click on next option. Once we click on next option, we will see that for those images not found, we are getting not found value. But for those images are coming, we are finding that value. So now guys, this is a complete AMPscript and personalization string implementation we have done. Now we will, as we have developed the core AMPscript and personalization string functionality, which is important because that email has to be data driven. You can now use HTML, CSS to design it. In that HTML, CSS, what all content you want all these content. Let me open a notepad. You want all these content, date, subscriber key, email address, phone number. Then hi message you want to have in that HTML. Then product, brand, color, size, quantity, all these things you want to have. Then what all things you want to have and have in an email, the image value you want to have. the image value you want to have inside that email, because that is not the correct format of email you will be sending to your customers. But what you manage is to get the core data you have to display on the email. Now, after you have got the core data and the AMPscript, then you have to design email and format it perfectly so that it looks beautiful. So all these things we definitely require on our email. Apart from image, we also require bill and country. We also require bill and country. So all these details we want to populate. Now we have to build HTML, CSS and populate all these data. We want to build HTML, CSS and populate all these data. What we will do, we will delete all these blocks. We will delete all these blocks. Image, let's keep. Delete all these blocks. Okay. And if you go and preview now, nothing is printed apart from logo because all blocks are deleted and AMPscript won't print. What we will do, we will drag and drop HTML block. And inside HTML, we have to write HTML format and display all these data. What you can do is you can go and open ChatGPT if at all you are finding difficulty on HTML, CSS. If at all you are getting difficulty on HTML, CSS, and you manage to build AMPscript, you are stuck in such a situation that you have to design it as well. Once you have formatted the AMPscript, copy that data and inside the ChatGPT write HTML for this whatever AMPscript you have pasted and hit enter. Okay, ChatGPT will write all these details for you, will format everything in an HTML. It has written the entire HTML here, but you want to also have CSS, that means color design. Include CSS to above and make in a format of email. So now that HTML will also have CSS written by ChatGPT, where everything around CSS is written easily. This will give you confidence to work on HTML, CSS challenges. If you are not heard of ChatGPT, then you should see. And if you already know ChatGPT and never implemented it, this is the perfect use case for you as a marketing cloud expert, which will help you give confidence in designing perfect emails. You have to work on AMPscript and small HTML, CSS formatting. Best formatting you can get from ChatGPT. Once the email is developed, we will copy the code. This is the HTML block which we have written. We will paste that inside the HTML block. This is the entire email which is built. But it missed to include image section, guys. ChatGPT missed to include image section. Bill details, subscriber key, email address, hi, first name, product, jeans, color, size, quantity. Okay, it got image section as well. Total bill and shipping address. This is a formatted thing, guys, we got from ChatGPT. If you try to toggle the value, you see shoes is purchased, bill details are this, date this, subscriber key this, everything is given. Now you want to do a test send on your email. You want to see how this email looks inside your browse inside your inbox, then you can go and click on this envelope or email option from left hand side. Manually type your email address. And click on send button. Send test. Once we have done test send, a test email will be delivered inside our inbox. A test email will be delivered inside our inbox. So we got Northern Trail Outfitters invoice email. This is the email which we have developed. So guys, that was all about email development, AMPscript and personalization string. A lot to practice for you. But you have to focus more on AMPscript. How we have used 3 data extensions to retrieve data. So that is something which you have to understand. To practice more on AMPscript, we have Trailhead documentation. We have Trailhead AMPscript documentation, code with AMPscript, explore AMPscript unit. Most of the functions which we have already discussed, like how to set the value of a variable, how to declare variable, if conditions we have discussed. To get the output, we have discussed V functions. Okay, how to declare variables, set the value of variables, lookup functions. This is a 4-module unit. If you understand those modules, you will be best at AMPscript and you will be very confident working on Marketing Cloud.